Well, first of all, Nigel, I think you told Ed after the West Brom game, the international break was just a good chance for you to recharge the batteries. Have the batteries been recharged heading into the end of season running?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's been I get the impression from the players and staff they've all benefited from a bit of time away. So they are what they are. You make the most of it, don't you? And yeah, looking forward to the game now at the weekend.
Yes, after we spoke to you at the West Brom game, within 24 hours, Andy Weimann got an international call-up. Just a word on that achievement, and he must be delighted to have featured in the last two matches.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's I think a fitting reward for the amount of positive work that Andy's done for us this season, and I think it's a very positive thing that his country's recognised that. So yeah, I'm pleased for Andy. Yeah, it's been a long time since he was last involved with the national side, and it's recognition for a very positive season on his own behalf.
And would it be the icing on the cake if he was to come back and hit that 20 goal mark between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a good chance of that. Of course he has, because he's always in games. And the other really positive thing for us this season is his availability. So, bearing in mind last year, he suffered quite a serious injury. So to have him available for the majority of the season so far, and hopefully for the entirety of it, is testament to how hard he's worked in terms of his recovery, and I think it speaks volumes about his capacity to deliver on the pitch, both in terms of work rate and this season in particular, the number of goals he's scored and been involved in.
Another positive has been Antoine went off injured in your last match. Have you any news on his injury?
Well, he's making progress, but because it's the knee, he had a little bit of a problem with the end of last season and the early part of this season. We're being sensible with that. Of course, it was very disappointing for him to miss out on his international call-up for Ghana. But I know he's very excited about the fact that Ghana have now qualified. So he'll get his chance at some point.
And if he's not available on Saturday, he
won't be available this weekend. He's not available this weekend. Yeah.
So is it an opportunity for Nahki to maybe get a chance, having scored in the last game? You've also got Tommy, haven't you, who maybe you want to have a look at between now and the end of the season?
Absolutely, I think Nahki's been excellent this year in terms of his support of his teammates, and at no point has he been anything other than positive. And on top of that, he's a player that I know will work hard for the team, and he enjoys playing. He enjoys scoring goals. So if he gets that opportunity, I know he'll do everything he can to take it.
How close is Joe Williams to being considered again after his injury?
Yeah, not this week, but maybe for the Peterborough game. And I've already said that he won't be considered for midweek games. So between now and the end of the year. So hopefully he may be available for 5 games between now and the end of the season.
And has Tomas benefited from a bit of a time out of the side, and is he available again this weekend?
No, he won't be available this weekend. But he's been out in the grass today, and I can't tell you whether how close he is, but because he's somebody who has always been able to play through some sort of discomfort. So I suppose it's just judging now whether we wait for him to be as close to 100% as possible, whether he just makes himself available and he goes back into the fray. But we'll see. I think it's important for him that he makes the most of this opportunity to give his own body a bit of a rest. But I know he's not somebody who enjoys not being available. That's just the type of person he is.
And just a final one on team news. Is anyone available this side of the international break who wasn't previously?
No, I don't think so. I think we're very much as we were. Yeah.
So 7 games to go. I think season tickets up for renewal for Monday. How important is it to go into that run-in with some positivity and some momentum?
Well, of course, I think everybody recognises that we need to finish the season as well as we can, just to give to have as positive an end to the season as possible, and you know the last week that we played, and we had 3 games in a week, we sort of bookended a very bad performance at Barnsley with 2 very positive performances. I mean, you know, the annoying thing with the West Brom result was obviously conceding such a late goal, but the performance was very, very good. And so I think it's always I'm keen for us to finish as well as we can. I think it's important for the players in that regard, but I also think for our fans, it will, hopefully will give them some optimism for the future.
And how big a challenge Bournemouth, who at the moment looks set for promotion to the Premier League this season?
Yeah, well, I mean, they were always going to be there or thereabouts, I think, just with the quality of the players that they have and their ability to go out and strengthen. I mean, their squads, we can't compare the squads in terms of size or in many ways the depth of quality. I mean, it's just on a different level to where we currently are, but we also know that we're probably in a not probably, we have become a side that creates chances now. So earlier in the season when we played them, they beat us quite comfortably, really, in many ways, just because we struggled to match them both physically and certainly on the quality side of it. But I mean, we go into this game, I don't suppose there'll be too many people expecting us to get anything out of the game, which in some ways frees up our players, I think, or we should do. My expectations going into it is that I want us to play with a similar mentality to how we approach the Blackburn game, and that is we've got to stay in it to have a chance of winning it. And that's, other teams have gone to Bournemouth recently and had some pretty positive results. We know it'll be a tough game. We know that they've got quality, but for me it's in many ways a free hit.
I'll see you on Saturday. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, cheers, no problem.
Hi Nigel.
Hi Rich. Okay.
Hi. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Is there any update on Alex Scott? Will he be fit for the game on Saturday?
Yeah, he'll be fine. Yeah, he'll be okay.
Yes, and I know you mentioned with Joe Williams that you want to get him back in for Peterborough.
Possibly,
is there a time frame on Semenyo at all, or
no? No, not at the moment. No, he'll be fit when he's able to when he's able to play. I mean, as I've already pointed out, he's it's the same knee as he had a problem with at the end of last season and the early part of this year. So it's common sense that we do what we can to allow him time to get that right. And as Richard's already pointed out, Nahki's been waiting for his opportunity. So let's see.
I heard Dan Bentley in the week on the radio, and he seems to be very relishing his place back in the sides and proving people wrong. Is that the reaction that you were exactly what you were hoping for?
I haven't really given that any thought, to be honest with you. I didn't hear his what was it? An interview?
Yeah, an interview with Jeff Twentyman on.
Look, he's the captain of the team, and I'd expect him to do exactly what you just said. So, that's professional players are are paid to play, and I would expect them to, if they're not in the side, to work hard to get back in the side, and if they're in the side, I expect them to work hard to stay there. And everybody, those parameters apply to absolutely everybody. So I don't know what he said, but no, he's doing well. He's doing well.
No, he is. I wanted to ask you on your kind of thoughts on the parachute payments. Obviously, the research came out this week.
I've never had them, so I don't know. I've got no idea.
Would you be an advocate of scrapping them at all, or kind of reforming the process?
Come on, I'm a football manager. I'm not an administrator, and so I don't really give it a great deal of thought. I don't worry about things that I haven't got. All my time and energy is deployed in trying to find solutions to our own circumstances. Outside of that, I'm afraid you need to speak to authorities on that. So whether it be the Premier League, the EFL, whether they can come to any agreement, whether the FA have got anything to say about it, who knows? I've got no idea about what they think about it.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. What is it that you want to kind of see from your side from the remaining 7 games of the season?
Say that again, sorry.
What is it that you would like to see from your side for the remaining 7 games of the season?
Yeah. A few points, good performances, good standards, no slacking. I want to see us finish the season with an intent to get better, and whether that be individuals within the team or the team itself, that's what I expect. I expect people to perform at their optimum levels, and if we do that, then we can have a positive end to the season. And whether that's performances coupled with results, that's really what the optimum is. But yeah, we need to build on some of the positives that have occurred this season, and that is the players breaking into the side, players consolidating places within the side which probably weren't there last year. Yeah, lots of different things, but ultimately it's about performances and results, and that's what I want to see. I want to see some positivity in that regard.
And the players, you mentioned the players breaking into the side, is that potential for the likes of Josh Hours to come in and kind of get some minutes under his belt? I know trained as well. Travelled with the squad. I'm
not of the opinion that I don't particularly want to put players in a position that we had to last year, which was very risky, but it was what we had to do last season. I think players will get opportunities if it's appropriate, but it's a lot more beneficial to youngsters coming into a side which has a bit of character about it, for sure. So I've already spoken, I think, quite at length already this season about our younger players having a lot of responsibility as sometimes being our best players. So that's not always the way that you want it to be, but if they're good enough and they're able to deal with that level of expectation and pressure, then that's ultimately very, very good for us in the longer term. But in terms of introducing more newcomers to the team, I think that's about trying to get the balance right between it being an opportunity for them just to go out and be able to play without overthinking stuff, and that's where, if we get some positive results over the next couple of weeks, then that becomes easier to do.
Dare I ask about the progress of George Tanner? He's
of course. I was expecting it. Of course, yeah. He's out there training.
2 or 3 weeks. No,
he's much closer now. Is he? Yeah. He's used to me calling him the Messiah out on the field now. So, joking aside, no, he's looking much better, and as I've already pointed out on a few occasions, a reoccurrence of a hamstring injury is not something which is, we certainly don't want to put him into a situation where he's in danger of reoccurring. So, he's back out there. He's training with us. He's looking okay. He now needs to have a couple of weeks of regular, quite intense training to bring him into contention. I think that's the best way of putting it.
Okay, great. Thanks for your time.
Cheers. No problem.
Hi, Nigel.
Hi, Gregor. How are you?
Not too bad. I got
back
COVID
on the
at
scene
moment,
at once, for once.
Yeah. Just yesterday, the club announced a new 6-year shirt deal with Hummel, and Noah Masengo was front and centre, the poster boy almost. Can we read anything into that? Are you confident that he'll be at the club beyond May?
I can't comment on that really, I suppose. I wasn't aware that he was front and centre, so thanks for letting me know. I didn't know that. Those types of things are. Look, he's contracted to the club, and he's been a good performer for us this season, as he was last season, and we're still trying to negotiate a new deal with him. But outside of that, I don't think you can either read into it something or not. I've already said that I think what's important is that we don't allow players to run the clock down, and that's my view. Whether it's shared by the club, and to my knowledge it is, but that doesn't mean that I think Noah being involved in a shoot like that suggests what we all think, and that is we'd like him to stay here longer. But I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you how that's going to go in the summer. But I'm just very realistic about these types of things.
Yeah, sure. I think you were asked recently about the possibility of a head of recruitment coming into the club in the summer, and you said that that's not on the agenda.
No, it's not. No.
And you said that the plan was to tweak things regarding recruitment. Are you able to expand on that at all?
No, that will be a club policy. But no, I can't expand on that. No.
You're obviously not bringing in extra staff to help on that front as it stands. Then. No,
I mean I'm not. I'm not in the recruitment department, so it's that's not something that is. I don't see that as being imminent. No, I don't.
Do you see this coming summer as a key summer, Nigel? I guess as a football manager, you have to live to an extent day to day, and obviously results determine everything. And you could argue, therefore, that every summer is key. But given what happened sort of last summer and the turnaround and in players and stuff, is there an extra emphasis maybe on this coming summer?
You could argue that is the case, yeah, but it will be dependent on whether or not we can do business, and it's so is it going to be if you can make headway in shaping a squad in a summer window, stands to reason that you've got a better opportunity of moving forward at a bit of a quicker pace, potentially. It doesn't always work to be the case, but of course the circumstances within which we're working will dictate that. So again, it's whatever potential plans that we have for making changes to a squad are going to still be dependent very much on a few factors that I can't, I'm not really in control of, and that is whether the market becomes more active than last year. I mean, it was dead last year, let's be honest. There's very little money changing hands, and that's that's where we all are. And whether we're able to do the business that we may want to do will remain to be seen.
We've spoken about obviously the young players who come through into your squad this season. There's obviously numerous examples of guys who've done very well.
Yeah.
I gather that last week or this week has been sort of decision time at the Bristol City Academy for quite a few of the younger guys. I just wondered if you had some words, some advice for maybe some of the guys who go the other direction, unfortunately. And obviously this is part of football, dealing with rejection. But maybe guys who aren't going to see a straightforward linear movement into the senior squad may have to leave the club and go elsewhere. Do you have any words for those guys?
Yeah, okay. I mean, I do. I will answer that, but it's. I think one of the problems that football has had for a number of years is that when players leave some of the really big clubs, that they don't really, a lot of players fall out of the game. I think one of the philosophies that really is very important to how we work here is that whoever comes into the system, whether they come in very early, as young kids really, I think there's got to be a level of reality right from the outset. So, the if you like, the conversion rates from how many young players, 8, 9, 10-year-olds come into a football club, and how many of them actually make it at that football club. Those numbers or those percentages of success are still relatively small, and I think that's something that is very important for people to understand from the outset, and that is, parents and the kids themselves. But what's very important throughout the journey of developing as a footballer, as a boy, as a girl, whatever, is that the experience is a good one. So I think one of the things that we pride ourselves on here is when we have to let people down and we have to give them difficult news in terms of them not progressing further here, is that we try and make sure the experience that they've had here is a positive one, and that we help them to find a level. And so I'm a big believer in the fact that some players can not make it to the professional ranks to start with, find a level and come back into the game. I think the non-league scene still has a very active part to play in players' development, because what you've got to remember is that players who maybe, and it's different with boys and girls, is that their maturation period can come at different times, and so there will be players who maybe are let go who are later developers, and so there's still an opportunity. So I think what football needs to, and I think that's where it's important that youngsters who don't make it at the top end Premier League sides, that too many of those players have probably fallen out of the game altogether, and that's a shame for football, because there would be an argument to say that those players should find a level at either Championship or lower, Division 1 or 2, and probably that's not happened enough, and that's probably something to do with cultural issues as well. But for a club like us, where I think we're a big part of the community, and a lot of the players who don't make it for Bristol City will hopefully filter down to some of the non-league sides below us, and that those players could come again. So I think that's the important thing, is that for me, it's even when you become a seasoned professional, once you lose that ability to enjoy playing, I think that's a shame. And so really it's whether you are a success as a professional player, or whether you are a successful amateur, or you play just for the love of it, there's still got to be an element of that. And I think that's something that the professional game needs to be very mindful of.
Yeah, sure. Every player has their own individual journey, don't they? I'm sure even there's players in your senior squad who've had setbacks, ups and downs. And I was just going to end, Nigel, by asking about your own experiences when you were coming through at Hina Town.
There you go. I was the youth teams that I played in. I played in a youth team in Nottingham where Calvin Plummer, Chris Fairclough, Steve Hodge, we all played in the same side. They went on to break through at Forest, Derby, whatever. And I went to college and played non-league football and broke back in later on, but I had a decent career. So there are always different routes, and I think there is that. I think the non-league scene is, fortunately for football, still very, very active, and I think it's the level of football is sometimes better than people probably imagine. There is still a route into it, and I think clubs like us need to make sure that we still have, and we do, by the way, we still have our eye very much on the local scene, and that's something that is very important still.